This is from Larry Williams. He covers Clemson for Tigers Illustrated. And this was a tweet from him. Subscribers to TigersIllustrated.com know that since mid-August, we have written that the attempted secession from the ACC union is likely to commence during the season. And 3 days ago, we wrote that it's likely to happen in October. Paul, you're the ACC guy. Is this now starting to percolate again?
Yeah, there seems to be some push around, especially the Clemson community, that Clemson might have been the one that's figured out the grant of rights or figured out what they're at least going to do to get out of it. But they've been very quiet about it publicly. They let Florida State go and make all the noise, but everyone knew that everybody was going to go together. When it came to that point, this was Clemson's not leaving on their own. And if Clemson figures out a way out, then there's going to be at least one school and probably another that goes with them at least. That's why the ACC has reacted the way it has, adding schools from across the country to join their league so they can keep their status the same way. I would not be surprised if you start putting clues together, like, okay, why would you come out and have all this bravado if there were still months or years of work to be done on this, unless you maybe kind of knew that you were a couple months away from figuring it out? That, to me, would make the most sense, because the one thing I thought about Florida State all summer long was, if you're saying this now and like trying to hit the fast forward button now, but still have 3 years of legal wrangling to do, why would you not wait until closer to the end of the legal wrangling?
Right.
Like that never made sense to me. Like, bark and make as much noise as you want, and maybe people will follow. I didn't think that was a really solid strategy, but if you knew where things were going and were confident with that, then maybe that's why you decided to like turn the volume up on your plans.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about Larry Williams to know his routine as far as throwing teasers out there, but this seems to, based on the reaction, be something that's obviously getting some play, and there's some smoke around it. There's been this situation bubbling up under the surface or above the surface now for about a year at this point, right? Florida State's barked a couple times. We certainly discussed the possibilities when the ACC was going through their Pac-12 additions. This was talked about widely as far as how the vote went and what that would mean for the future of the conference. So, things settled as you knew that they were going to when the season started, but now we're starting to reach the halfway point, and I guess people are already starting to see the offseason on the other side of that. And, I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't have any insight here other than it appears that the end game for Clemson and for Florida State and for perhaps others is to eventually leave the ACC. We know they've been rattling the cage. We know they've been, at least in Tallahassee, pouring through the grant of rights and all the various documents that they need to figure out to be able to get out potentially with as least resistance as possible, or least damage as possible. Where's the invite coming from would be one thing. Who you going to? I think there's only two candidates, obviously. But yeah, I think this is something that we knew was going to circle back around at some point. I don't know if this is, hey, back in the spotlight for the next few weeks kind of a story, or if this is just one of those that pops up and then we don't hear about something else for another couple months or not. But that is a fascinating element of realignment. Just kind of funny how that all comes back today, but that is a loose end, if you will. The ACC tied up one loose end with the addition of SMU and Cal and Stanford, but that Florida State, Clemson, and whoever piece was just kind of...
It's like pulling out, it's a scratch. It's like poison ivy.
Yeah, you put it back in a knot, but the knot's not going to hold forever, right? So that's how it felt at the time, and you knew that there could be more to this, or there would be more to this, so... October's just days away. We'll see what happens, I guess.
All right. Mike Oresco